I'm here. I'm queer. Yes, I have armpit hair. Whoa, whoa. I have to move my plant, but I'm gonna keep it in the shop. Hi, my name is Trina. I'm here with my little plant, and I just wanted to do an intro video for my YouTube channel. Basically, who am I? Why the fuck am I chatting? Am I using my platform? Why y'all want to listen to me instead of doing other shit that y'all probably should be doing? Because I have shit to say. I guess I'll just talk about who I am. I'm black. I'm queer. I'm a woman. I'm a cis woman. I know cis people be acting up, so I will be making sure to advocate for trans people as much as I can on all my content, all my platforms. I usually do anyways. If you look at my Twitter, which will be linked below alongside with my Instagram, because cis people be stupid as fuck, and I understand it. I understand that. Kind of just wanted to introduce myself, who I am, what I look forward to putting out on my platform, and what I intend to talk about. First, I'm a writer. I feel like that's the main focal point of what I do for my career, for my life. I'm looking forward to putting my work out there very soon, so that's something to look forward to. Else about me, I'm starting a podcast with my best friend Trina. She's actually my content manager and my video editor as well, so there's that. And I really love her. We really have so many things to talk about. I'm really excited for the things that we'll be talking about on the podcast. We talk about so many different things. We talk about things that celebrities say. We talk about things like celebrity idolization, blackness, queerness, school, structural issues, anything you can think about that we chat about, we're gonna chat about it. So I'm really excited to launch that. If you want Q&As or whatever, feel free to put that in the comments so that I can answer your questions, because I feel like I want to hear from y'all. That's another thing about me. I plan on being very interactive with the people who follow me and talk to me, because otherwise, what's the point, you know? Like, I'm not just doing this for me. As much as I love talking to myself all the time, 24/8, 25/7, I would like to hear what you guys have to say. What do I do though? I definitely talk a lot about spirituality as I practice Obia. Obia is a spiritual practice practiced by many people in the Caribbean, even though it's illegal there. I wrote a thread about it on Twitter if you're interested at looking at that. You just put my @ and put Obia. Yeah. And I like helping other people, inspiring them. I love helping with personal development and self-help type of content and things. So that's my intention, that's my goal with my platform in general, and I'm really excited to see where I'm going. I have so many things planned, and I can't wait to share them with you all. And that's another reason why I love asking what you guys want from me, because I don't know, especially for YouTube specifically, I feel like that will be the best platform in terms of my audience asking what they want and me delivering, compared to all my other social media platforms, which I feel like are more monitored by me and what I want more than other people. Whereas YouTube, I feel like, is different, because I can just publish videos whenever I want, and I can cover so many content and topics. But today's video is kind of just discussing who I am now versus who I was when quarantine started. And the reason why I want to talk about that is I feel like that experience will kind of allow my audience and even my friends to really understand where I am now, the way I process now, the way I think, and why I believe I'm deserving of a platform now compared to any other part of my life before. Because I feel like everyone has been shaped and molded through this quarantine period, and we're all completely different people. I feel like we're all aligning with our careers, our desires, what we truly want, has really forced us. I know not everyone has done this, but I feel like the majority of people have really like sat down and asked themselves, who am I when I'm alone? Do I like what I'm doing with my life? Do I like what I'm doing with my content? Do I like what I'm doing with my career? And I feel like this these like 4 or 5 months have prepped me for what is to come and what I am planning on doing. So I'll kind of just talk about where I was January, February, March time period, and then like make my way down to September. I can't believe we're in September. Like, that really blows my mind. I don't think we quite understand that we've been inside for almost a year. Like, I feel like that's our conception of time is so screwed up, because we've never been inside for almost an entire year, so it doesn't feel like a year because all the days just like blend into each other. Wild. Anyways, so starting with January, February of 2019. I feel like February was an incredibly hard month for me. I'm a Pisces. My birthday's February 20th, 2001. Every time my solar return comes around, solar return, for those who don't know, is basically just your birthday year return in astrological terms. Every time my solar return time period comes around, Pisces season comes around, I cry. Almost every single year, I cry around my birthday, and I'm probably going through it. And I think the reason why is because my sun sign is in the 11th house in my birth chart, and the 11th house has to do with friendship and like interactions with other people, social dynamics. So every year around my birthday, I like either lose a friend or figure out something about friendship, or like have to reorient who I want in my life. So it's like literally the past 4 years, I cried near or on or around my birthday. Which I think is so funny. Even though I love my season, this past Pisces season was awful. Also, I think Venus entered retrograde around that time period, like I think like March or May. But there was this whole year, transit wise, horrible. Around my birthday, same thing. There was a lot going on in that time period. But I feel it was my first year of college too, so that was a lot to deal with. And I think February was kind of the apex of me figuring out that you don't need hundreds and thousands of people in your life to have good friends. I'm a very social person. Like, I'm an extrovert. Hands down, I'm an extrovert. And literally all my friends, literally every single one of them except for one, is introverted. So as an extrovert, before, my thinking was, okay, the more friends I have, the merrier. And not because I felt like something was missing necessarily, but more because, oh my God, I love everyone, and I want to touch everyone, and like I want to touch everyone's heart and soul and mind. And that's why I want to reach out to so many different people and kind of like get to know them and understand people, and like really understand that, like, why do people behave the way they do. And I thought I had to do that by touching tens of thousands of people. So throughout my life, I've met lots of people because I'm very sociable, but also because that was kind of my driving factor. And I think February on my birthday, I had been going through a lot of trouble with like friends and like communication issues, and I was just kind of frustrated because, you know, my close friends from high school are not there with me. They go to different high schools or different places, and I had, in the beginning of the year, I had been talking to so many different people, and then I realized like majority of those people were not my friends. Like, acquaintances and friendship are very different, and I think I did not really have friendship requirements. Like, I did, but I didn't enforce them as much. And I was still very naive. I feel like February, I was still very, very naive in terms of how people behave. I'm a very honest and authentic person. I know thousands of people say that, but when I mean that, like, I mean, you can literally ask any of my friends. Like, when I mean I'm honest, I mean I don't hide anything. Like, I'm very much an open book. I talk about anything and everything. So because I'm like that, I naively believe that everyone else operated the same way too. So anytime someone told me something, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna take this at face value. This is 100% true. Not necessarily 100% true, but I believed. I was like, oh, okay, I'm someone who analyzes all my thoughts, all my beliefs, understands where my trauma comes from, and like introspects. So this person must do the same thing too. Like, that's kind of like what my reasoning was in February. I didn't consciously realize that, but that's what was going on subconsciously, which causes me a lot of issues. Obviously, if I'm believing that everything or mostly what everybody's saying is true, or giving them that degree of faith that they have done the internal work when really that's not true. And I think that's something I used to take for granted a lot about myself, like my ability to really introspect and understand, because most of my close friends do that. Most of my close friends do introspect or are honest with me. So I kind of just like took that approach to everyone I met, which is not healthy. And I think that birthday, I was just like, wow, this fucking sucks. Like, these people who I thought were doing the work are not doing the work. They're not. And it kind of forced me to really reevaluate how I operate with other people and within my friendships. And I think what I learned from that was I think I learned time. Like, before I would just jump in and talk I would just reveal everything about me and be like, yes, this is me, this is my life, this is how I operate, this is my understanding of everything, this is my deepest feelings and emotions, and then I just expected that from the other person, when that's not necessarily true for everybody. And I think I really learned like how to slow down when meeting new people and entering new friendships. Like, I really learned that, and I didn't understand. That's the thing. I feel like before I did not understand, because people would tell me like, oh, take your time or do this when it comes to relationships or friendships, and I was like, why? I don't understand. Like, I literally did not get it. I was like, but why? I'm open and honest, so why do I have to be patient in a relationship or friendship? Like, why can't we just talk and do everything now? I have Aries Venus, so of course Aries Venus Sag March energy. I'm always like, yes, let's do everything now. Let's ooh, my bad, I'm just trying to move my camera. Let's do everything now. Let's jump into friendship now. And I really truly did not understand why I need to be patient. And that's something I learned, I think, in May and July. May and July was really hard for me because I had just exited an entanglement. I thank Jada Pinkett Smith for making that word, because that word is perfect. My name is. When I exited this entanglement, I realized, actually before I even exited in May, I started following Melanated Mama. I'll also link her Twitter. They're a spiritualist. They're gender fluid, they use all pronouns. And around that time, they had been tweeting a lot about root chakra work and kind of building your own foundation and relying on yourself. And what that really means is just kind of like basing your values in yourself and kind of establishing yourself. So not getting lost in other people and other friendships and other relations, but like really understanding what you deserve, what you want, your values. So that way, when new people enter your life, you're not surprised that they ended up not being who you thought them to be, because you took the time. You took time to, one, invest in yourself and what you want and your values, and then two, you took that time to watch them. So instead of just thinking, oh yeah, I'm like this, so they're like this. No, you took the time to really watch them and be like, okay, these are my values over here. Let me watch this person's pattern and see if they're the same, or if they meet these requirements, or if they differ from these requirements. And these requirements can also apply to friends as well. It doesn't have to just be romantic. So around that time period, they had been tweeting a lot about that. And I was like, yo, man, I should start applying this. So I did. Because I was like, I am tired of falling for emotionally unavailable people. And I'm tired of doing the whole, oh my God, fantasy, love life, blah, 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 and then it not working. And usually this would be me with crushes. I've only been in one long-term relationship, and that was like 16, 17. But usually what I would do after that is like all my crushes, I would build this whole fantasy land thing, and then I would find out they're unavailable is usually what would happen. Or I would be flirting or entanglement, emotional unavailability. And I was like, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of building this whole fantasy thing with this person and then it not being true or realistic. So I was like, you know what? This is really good advice. I'm going to take it. I'm going to really just slow down with this entanglement. So I did. And I'm so happy I did that, because I feel like when it ended, I didn't feel like I lost myself. Whereas in the past, if an entanglement ended, something that I was really emotionally invested in, I probably would have taken it way harder, because I didn't have that self-investment. I would have been invested in the fantasy and the illusion rather than being invested in myself. But this time around, since I really took the time to be like, skirt, let me invest in myself, it paid off. So basically, the entanglement ended for very much complicated reasons that I will not be getting into. I was like, holy fuck, Serena, I really can't be out here giving my energy to everyone in the world, because people are fucking crazy. Like, not only are people crazy, but also it's unsustainable. Like, it literally is unsustainable to give everyone in your life or anyone you meet the same energy. Whereas before I was like, oh, I'm happy and I love everyone and I'm just gonna give everyone 100% all the time, because that's what I believe. I believe everyone has that chance. So I'm like, okay, yes, everyone has that chance, but boundaries. Yes, everyone has that chance, but you're human and this is unsustainable. So I literally had to stop. I was like, yeah, I had to stop. And basically after that entanglement, I had to take a lot of spiritual baths. Spiritual baths are basically, it's like a bath that you take with lots of herbs and you speak intention into it. And they also do lots of like spiritual energetic protection, and I kind of had to do that to help kind of separate myself from the person and also just protect myself for various different reasons. And during that time period, I did it for 3 days. That was my first spiritual bath I've ever taken. I did it for 3 days, and each day I learned something. And I think on the last day, that was the most important day, was really understanding like I cannot overextend myself to every single person I meet. And the reason why I can't do that is, reason number one, it shows the friends that I already have in my life that, not to say that my friends in my life need to be special, because that's not what they're asking and that's not what I need to do. Like, that's not my role. But it can come off as if like everyone is not deserving of my energy, I think is what it really is, because I have standards and boundaries. So I feel like people equate giving everyone the same energy as being real and honest and authentic, but that's not quite true. It's literally unhealthy emotionally, and it takes a toll on you to give 100% to everyone. So I feel like, yes, you can be nice to everyone, or yes, you can sustain your values with everyone you meet, but to give them the same energy, that's very different. Like, we're kind of like batteries, like we run out. So it's valid and more than okay to be like, you know what, I can't be this close to this person, or I can't have this person in my life. I just saw a yellow butterfly. I keep seeing yellow butterflies, and that, for me, that's a symbol of like success, prosperity. So that was so crazy. Like, I'm filming this YouTube video, I look out my window, yellow butterfly. I think that's like my 5th one. And Jupiter is about to go direct as of this video. But yeah, so I was just kind of like, I can't do this because it's hurting me. And it was like, it's very painful to believe in somebody, a friendship or a romantic relationship or whatever, and be like, yes, you're all these things that I'm putting onto you or that you presented to me, and now we're gonna be happy. And then when I realize that the illusion fails or crumbles or the veil goes away, then I'm sad because I hyped this person up instead of just stopping and watching what they're doing. Like, again, actions speak so much louder than words. And I feel like I'm so happy I learned that, because now that I have boundaries, and now that I don't give every single person 110,000%, I'm now able to cater to more people actually, and cater to the relationships that I already have in my life in a much better and more healthy way, because I have already established who gets how much of my energy. And since I did that, I now have more energy to give everyone else in ways that won't hurt me. And an example of that is my platform. I am not burdened or hurt, or my battery doesn't necessarily go down if I'm filming like a YouTube video for everyone to see, because again, it's a different type of giving it energy, and also I'm consenting to that. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to do this. And I feel like I really needed to go through that entanglement to realize that, because there was no way in hell I would have realized it without it. Like, I think if I didn't have that entanglement, I probably wouldn't have had the boundaries and like the energetic boundaries that I have now. I really needed to go through that to understand that, and I think I needed to go through that also to help other people, and that's something I want to do. I think I've always done that through my friendships, helping other people with their emotions, helping other people do shadow work. Shadow work is basically just like looking at your, I don't want to call it necessarily negatives, but looking at who you are, like for real, and unpacking your trauma. I think that's the best example, like unpacking your trauma, unpacking who you are, unpacking your darkness or whatever, and really looking at that and being like, okay, who am I for real with my trauma, with all of these things, like who am I, and really introspecting and looking at that. And that takes a long time, that takes years. It's taken me 19 years and it will never end. That's the thing, like self-help never ends. It never ever ends. It might get easier, or you have the toolbox and your tools are sharpened. Your tools get sharpened, but it never ends. And that's another thing I learned actually during quarantine, like this shit never ends, because I feel like before I saw it as like a hierarchy or stepping stone type of thing, like, okay, got this checked off the list, 10 more steps to being perfect. And when I relieved myself from that standard or belief system, I was able to just be, and it's given me so much more freedom and liberty, and I'm really happy about that. Also, something I've learned is just being very strict with who I allow in my life. And I know before I said boundaries, but this is a bit different. I feel like now I'm like, I really make sure that the people in which I allow in my life, like who have my number, who have my personal information, are worthy of that. I feel like something that we forget as people is that you are allowed to tell people no in terms of their access to you, and that's okay. No is a complete sentence. No can stand alone. And you are allowed to tell someone like, hey, I don't necessarily want to be as close to you, because, and you don't even have to give a reason, as long as you communicate that that is what is going on. You don't necessarily have to have a reason. I know it's nice, it would be nice if you do give a reason for closure reasons, but you are allowed to tell someone like, hey, I believe that this friendship or this whatever insert thing here is not working because of, and then insert reason here. Like, we're allowed to do that. And I feel like sometimes we forget, like, you are allowed to really look at your life and be like, you belong here, you don't, you need to move to this circle, blah blah. Because again, like, it helps with exerting your energy. Like, you just can't be there for every single person. No martyrs in this casa, no martyrs. And I used to be a martyr. That's the problem. I think before I would go into the street and have a car run over me for someone I just met yesterday. You see the problem? Like, I'm like, that's not healthy, because if I'm dead, then how am I going to help other people? How am I going to live my life? How am I going to be happy for myself? That's not going to work if I'm out here trying to die for everybody and their mom. It's not going to work. So I feel like that's kind of like what I learned. The big thing that I learned, and why I'm ready. I think that explains why I'm ready now to go further, to reach more people, to talk to more people, to use my words. Like, my words are my craft. That's why I'm a writer. That's why I love speaking. That's why I intend to do speeches and public performances and all that jazz, as I go up with my career and what I'm doing in life, because I have made room for that. If I hadn't really like introspected who was in my life and just continued to be a martyr, that would have never ever happened. It just would not have happened. I know that in my spirit, I know that in my soul, I know that intuitively it would not have happened, because I'm out here almost dying every day for every single person I meet. So we don't want that. We don't. Let's not do that. Let's live for ourselves. And I feel like being a martyr, again, I'm a Pisces, so you know, again, I'm a developed Pisces. So underdeveloped Pisces when I was before, I was a martyr. And I think another thing that comes with martyrdom is, that's not the best, is when we're martyrs, we're essentially saying that other people are incapable of saving themselves and that we need to do it. And to some degree, in like a little like backhanded way, wow, I just saw another butterfly that was yellow. Anyways, and another like backhanded weird way, it's kind of selfish to think like, I have to save all these people because without them it wouldn't work. It's kind of like Johnny Bravo. I know that's a drastic example. For those who don't know, Johnny Bravo was a character on Boomerang. Boomerang was a side channel owned by Cartoon Network. Bought Boomerang. That's the that's the network that used to broadcast Tom and Jerry and all those classics. But anyways, it's kind of like being a Johnny Bravo, like, woman, you can't do this, I have to do it for you. And then the woman is like, I can do this myself. And I feel like that's the narrative that we forget. These people were there before you. These people grew up and were around you for however many years before you were in their life. So I feel like we need to remember that people are capable of saving themselves. Like, the reason why Superman is not a thing is because people are capable of saving themselves. Not to say you can't help people, or like, fuck you and we're not gonna help you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm more just saying, like, you don't need to be a martyr, because everyone is their own Superman. Like, everyone has that ability to like throw on the cape and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And I feel like that's underscoring human resilience. When we're martyrs, we're underscoring human resilience. So that's why martyrdom doesn't work. It doesn't work for the person you're saving, and it doesn't work for you. Also, being a martyr sets a precedent for some people to be like, you know what, Serena is always gonna save me, so I'm gonna go to Serena all the time, anytime I need something. And then again, what ends up happening, your energy gets depleted, and then that other person doesn't realize, they start ego lending. Ego lending is a psychological term for when you kind of go to someone else to deal with your emotional issues. That doesn't mean going to other people for advice. That's very different. Ego lending is like, anytime I'm in distress, anytime I'm in distress, I can't handle it, I need to go to someone else. So it's like, it just creates a very toxic dynamic. I've been guilty of both of these things. I've been guilty of ego lending. Like, all of sophomore year when I was really depressed in high school, all I did was ego lend with my lit teacher. Of course, how gay is that? I didn't like her like that, but that's a very gay thing to, you know, ego lend with your lit teacher. That's a very common queer sapphic trope that we all see, especially on Twitter. And I had to stop doing that, because like, that's not healthy. That's, again, setting a precedent for both her and I, that I can't handle myself. I need to go to someone else and give them everything, which is like not healthy. Oh, the final thing, how could I forget this? I think the final thing that warrants me a platform, I feel like I'm like low-key making this video so funny, because I feel like I'm like petitioning for a YouTube channel. You don't have to do that, but I don't know, I just want to be honest with you. Like, why do I think people should listen to me? I want to be honest with that. Like, I don't want to just come here and fucking talk from jump. No, I want to be like, this is me, I'm being honest, I'm being vulnerable. This is why I genuinely believe people should listen to me. And I don't think it's bad to say that I have something to offer. I am making room for myself. As a Black queer woman, I want to make room for myself at the table. I want to be like, you know what? I am worthy of offering my words, my talent, my writing. I'm willing to do that. And that's why I want to be honest and just say, like, you know what? I want to make a path for myself. These are the reasons why. Like, this is why it's happening around this time and not before, or 2 months ago, or 3 months ago. And ironically enough, I had filmed a YouTube video a month ago, I think, about the topic, and literally my file corrupted. And honestly, I think that was divine timing, because I think I really needed this full circle moment to make this YouTube video. Also, around that time, my ancestors kept saying, relax, don't do any work. And what did I do? I still filmed the YouTube video. So I think they were like, bitch, we're gonna corrupt your file so you don't do any work. So here we are. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, the last thing that I learned, not the last thing, but one of the biggest things I learned during this quarantine was ancestral veneration. So for those who don't know, ancestral veneration is a spiritual practice where you essentially create, you just venerate your ancestors. It's very self-explanatory, but oftentimes people create altars. Altars is just like a space that you put things on for your ancestors to welcome them into your home or welcome them into your space. They're with you regardless, but it just really helps with like kind of anchoring your relationship with them. And again, I practice Obia, so that's tied with the Caribbean. I'm Jamaican. Whereas in America, the most common practice is hoodoo, which is from Black Americans, or aka African Americans, who have that lineage of their enslaved ancestors who were brought directly to America. And there's also Ifa, which is a whole nother thing. But anyways, just clarifying, I do ancestral veneration and I practice Obia, just throwing that out there. But anyways, the reason why that I brought that up is ancestral veneration has literally helped me ground myself in a way that I've never ever been able to do before. And I think the reason why is because it reminded me, like, I have people, I have a lineage, I have magic in my veins and my blood and my people. I can trust these people to support me, to help me, and through that it has helped me ground myself, because that's what they want from me. They want me to be grounded in myself. They don't want me to be grounded in them and what they have to say to me. They want me to be grounded in myself, because when I'm grounded in myself, my ears can open and I can listen to what they have to tell me. And I have the choice to listen to them or not, because I'm grounded in myself. And at the end of the day, they know that I know what's best for me. And your ancestors can often tell you things that you won't know, because they're in multiple places at once. Like, they're in the spiritual realm. They often like go out and like listen to what people have to say in relation to you, to protect you or warn you or support you. So by being grounded in myself, it has allowed me to become more open to listening to them, to understanding what they have to say. By practicing stillness, I have understood what it means to be present, and that as well has also helped me listen to them. And I just feel like since I've started venerating them, I think there's a big reason. I started venerating in March, right after the whole crying birthday scenarios thing, and I started venerating them in March, and the person I am now, like, I literally cannot explain to you how different I am since I started doing that. Because I've always done introspection. Like, I've always been obsessed with psychology since early middle school. I've always introspected and analyzed myself, so that part is not new. But I think ancestral veneration has allowed me to connect with myself in a way that those things didn't. And it's so interesting because it's like a different type of connection. I feel like the psychological lens is more of like a Western, analytical, almost detached, let's look at these pieces and like let's look at these bricks and stuff. So that's why I was really good at introspection, because I was like, why did I feel this way? Probably means this, blah blah blah. Whereas ancestral veneration and Obia and like spirituality has helped me connect to myself in a divine way. And I think that's why it's different, because it's just a different way of doing similar things. It's very, very different. And I feel like that's why I've been more able to just be still and understand and be more patient with other people and be less I forgot the word. Be less controlling of my life and others. I've learned to let go. And I don't think I would have ever been able to do that through just like Western psychology. Let's analyze, blah, blah, blah. I think I really needed that spiritual practice to complement what I had already known through my logic and stuff like that. Like, I needed that complement, that like yin and yang thing to come together. And that's my case. That's my case for why I want to make a platform. That's my case for why I want to make a YouTube. That's my case for why I believe my words should be heard, why my written words should be read, why I want to part my knowledge with the universe, because I really genuinely believe in what I have to offer, and I'm very, very excited to hear what you all have to offer. I'm excited to support people who support me. I hope that everything you wish comes to you tenfold. I hope that everyone really takes that step in and be like, who am I? Who am I outside of these things that society tell me that I am? And I'm excited to do that with you guys. I really am. I genuinely am. And I really think, again, as I said before, based off of all the things that I said, I'm in a place to do that. Like, for real, for real. I really think I'm in a place to do this work, to do this healing work, to do this truth work. You know what? It's not even healing work. My brand is truth work. I always tell people I'm an agent of truth. And what that means is I'm an agent of truth and I'm a truth teller. I call myself truth teller. And the reason why I call myself truth teller is I really genuinely live my life in truth, and I expect that from people in my life. Literally ask anyone and they know I want the truth all the time. And I want people to start living truths for themselves, like, because it just liberates you so much. So yeah, I'm the truth teller. I'm the truth worker. I think that's what my purpose is, and I feel like it's very different from healing work. I respect those who do healing work, and I do partake in healing work, but that's not quite what I do. I do truth work. I ask people to introspect. I ask people to sit down and look inside. I have Aries Venus 12th house placement, so already from jump, that's what I'm doing. Whether I'm doing it intentionally or not, people look at me and then they're either, I feel like I have a very polarizing effect. People either hate me because they're like, oh my God, she's like looking into me and my soul and I don't like this. Or people are like, I like her. She's down to earth. She's genuine. And she's asking us to tell the truth. I was looking at a flower. One of my flowers fell on the floor. She's asking us to introspect. That's cool. I want to practice that. So I understand that my effect has that like duplicity aspect. And that's what I am. I'm a truth worker. And I hope that people are open and accepting to me being a truth worker. But we all know I'm gonna make that space for myself anyways, because again, as a Black queer woman, I have to fight to make my space. But I can finally say, I hope you enjoyed my video. Like, subscribe, and comment in the comments. Or whatever them YouTubers be saying. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But I've always just wanted to say that, so now I can say it. And yeah, I'm excited to release my content. So I hope you have an amazing day. I'm sending my love always.